In my last video, we took a close look at Resident Evil's first side game, Survivor, an enjoyable, low-budget first-person shooter with some of the worst voice acting you'll ever hear in a video game. It also did not release with the controller it was designed for in its biggest market. Even after getting universally panned at its release, somehow, Survivor gained its own sub-series, the Gun Survivor Saga. The following title, Gun Survivor 2: Code Veronica, feels even lower budget than its predecessor, given its lack of voice acting, story, and complete asset reuse from its source material. Despite it being a Japan exclusive, I have played it, and I think it's absolute crap. After that travesty graced the world, we'd get the third entry to this series, Dino Stalker, a title that is more of a sequel to Dino Crisis 1 and 2 than that franchise's third game. The fourth and final Gun Survivor game is, in fact, the subject of today's video, Dead Aim. Dead Aim, or as it's known in Japan, Biohazard Gun Survivor 4: Heroes Never Die. That is the very real title of this game in Japan. Is a first-person, third-person zombie shooter taking place on an abandoned cruise liner stranded at sea. A literal ghost ship, if you will. Fun fact, this is the second released Resident Evil game taking place on an abandoned cruise liner. It would not be the last boat Resident Evil game. You'll see, it gets way too out of hand. This title was developed by Kavia, a popular outsourcing company that Capcom and Square Enix had utilized throughout the early 2000s. Kavia is a storied developer in its own right, developing some of my favorite lower-budget video games. Titles like Dragon Guard 1 and 2, Ghost in the Shell PS2, Bullet Witch, Bayonetta's socially awkward cousin, the Resident Evil Chronicles games, and my personal favorite of them all, a little-known title, simply known as Nier. Papa Nier is better than Brother Nier, and I don't care what you have to say about it. Sadly, Kavia went out of business in 2010, shortly after finishing Yoko Taro's masterpiece that would go on to make butts even more popular than they had ever been. And thank God, because I love butts. Their legacy in developing games, both memorable and not perfect by any means, will never be forgotten. Well, at least not by me. Like Survivor, Dead Aim doesn't have a whole lot of published dev history because the company that made it went out of business, so there's not a whole lot of people around from the Kavia days to talk about it. Dead Aim was announced in 2002 as a Japan exclusive like Gun Survivor 2. It was unclear at its announcement if it would ever come to the West, but eventually we would get confirmation closer to the game's actual release. Dead Aim unfortunately released to a pitiful amount of sales and mixed reception. I think at this point in time, people were just kind of tired of playing first-person Resident Evil games. Man, how the times have changed. Hey, it's better than Survivor's overwhelmingly negative reception, right? So yeah, let's take a deep dive into the vast open sea of insanity that is Resident Evil: Dead Aim. Dead Aim is the first Resident Evil title that actually removed the iconic Resident Evil title call. Why? No one knows, but it still sucks. Man, I sure am glad I had Casetify to protect my phone. Casetify is a premium smartphone case company that makes some of the toughest cases out there. Casetify's very own Chi-Tech 2.0 is designed to absorb as much impact as possible. Every impact and ultra impact case is made with 65% recycled plant-based materials. Browse a variety of amazing pre-built designs at different impact protection levels, or customize your own case. I got this cool powdery case that moves around, creating some really pretty designs. So if you, a friend, or family member are in the market for a new phone case, go to casetify.com/spherehunter to get 15% off your purchase. That's casetify.com/spherehunter. Never fear dropping your phone again, unless it's in front of a zombie. Dead Aim is a hybrid third-person adventure first-person shooter. I've got to be honest with y'all, the controls for this game are crazy, so bear with me as I solve the hard difficulty puzzle that is describing Dead Aim's control scheme. Dead Aim can be played with the GunCon too. Again, I unfortunately don't have access to this option, but yeah, America actually got the GunCon for this specific game, so that's cool. Alongside the GunCon and standard PS2 controller, Dead Aim can also be played with one of these. That's right, Dead Aim is one of the few PS2 games where you can plug a mouse directly into the console and aim that way, essentially emulating the GunCon's superior control. Ancient PS2 technology, CRT TV? No, all you need is a $20 Amazon mouse. So movement and exploration takes place in third-person view, while firing your gun happens in first. Hitting R1, pulling the GunCon's trigger, or clicking the left mouse enters aim mode where you manually aim at your enemies. Unlike Survivor, you can actually control the aim camera by pressing left or right on the controller, rotating your view. Aim mode also sees you locked in place, but we'll talk about this more in a second. I have to explain something else first. Something very specific, so give me a minute. You still move your character dynamically through the environment, but this time you get way more control in the directions you can move. Dead Aim uses tank controls, the major difference being that running is your default speed. This is where an all-new gameplay mechanic is introduced: sneaking. Holding down L1 activates this stealthy mode. Your tank-like movement is the same input-wise, but you're essentially walking. This is communicated to you by your character tiptoeing around zombies. It's kinda cute. Dead Aim mostly takes place on a boat stranded at sea. The lights on this tub are almost completely out, so stealth gameplay feeds into and creates a pretty wild atmosphere. Seeing your character slowly creep around or even through hordes of unaware zombies is hella tense. The control complication comes with Dead Aim's second sneak button. Holding down L2, again, makes you walk slowly, but this time you can't turn like you can with tank control. Instead, left and right lets you strafe. Yeah, you actually have to use two separate buttons to essentially do the same thing for different directional movement. For as insane as its basic movement is, Dead Aim's omnidirectional input on L2, believe it or not, translates perfectly to shooting. Like I mentioned before, entering aim mode on a controller allows camera rotation and vertical crosshair movement on the right stick. However, if you hold down L2 while aiming, you can move while shooting in any direction. The game actually feels pretty modern on a controller. Having camera control on the right stick and full directional movement on the left, you fire with R1 while holding down L2. It feels like you're playing a new shooter in Iron Sights mode. Surprisingly enough, it's all pretty great once you wrap your entire brain around these controls. This is the first RE game that lets you move while aiming your gun. It's pretty cool. Granted, all of that superior modern control feel goes out the window once you're back in third person. For some insane reason, you can't control the camera or rotate your character with the right stick like in first person mode. In my Survivor video, I talked about how I wished that game's developer would have copied GoldenEye for its first person movement and shooting. Here, I wish Dead Aim would have copied Halo's movement style. You know, the game that pioneered tangible first person movement on two sticks. Just give me full control over the camera and my character's movement in both perspectives. It doesn't make any sense. I get it wouldn't work too well on the GunCon, but even after playing the game for hours with the mouse, I discovered that you don't even have full aim control on that option either. After trying every method, controller was my preferred mode of play. Don't mean to brag, but I don't have issues aiming with a controller. I've played a lot of console arena shooters for like 20 years, so, you know. Get good, scrubs. No matter what you choose, it's all very cumbersome for almost no reason other than Japan not wanting to trend chase Western design at the time. God, we've come so far with game design. It's kinda crazy. Editor's note. I'm the editor, by the way. That Ghost in the Shell game that Kavia made came out a year after Dead Aim, and it has Halo controls. So, yeah. Oh, before I forget, you can also dodge like RE3, but it actually works really well. Maybe a little too well. Hit L1 when an enemy gets close to you, and you'll pull off a sweet crouch or breakaway. It's quick and snappy and feels good to perform. It totally adds to the game's intense action vibes. Now that we've talked far too much about character movement, let's talk about some of the weapons you'll be taking aim with. Even though Dead Aim is a first-person shooter, it's still very much a survival horror game, which I couldn't really say about its predecessors. This time, like the typical Resident Evil, no gun has infinite ammo, which means you actually have to conserve your resources. Pistols need ammo alongside other special weapons, and the standard arsenal makes its return: a shotgun, grenade launcher, an assault rifle, and of course, a big, fat magnum. To me, the most interesting heater is the silenced pistol. I love how stealth was a real focus for the devs, not only in adding the option to sneak around, but stealthily take down monsters. It plays into the concept of ammo conservation too. If you've got a group of zombies in front of you and not much ammo, break out the silencer, headshot a few goobers, sneak by the rest. A potential issue that comes with stealth is its overall purpose in the minute-to-minute gameplay. It is undeniably useful for saving your ammo, but from what I've found, not completely necessary in the long run. This game also has the classic RE save rooms, which, by the way, comes stocked with a surplus of pistol ammo. Obviously, you'd usually save your big guns for big guys, but Dead Aim is absolutely packed with hordes of zombies. I asked a few of my hardcore Resident Evil friends how they played Dead Aim, and to my surprise, almost all of them didn't even know stealth was an option, which means you can make it through Dead Aim basically blasting everything. The game does give you a lot of other resources too. In my recent playthroughs, I took advantage of stealth whenever possible, and it left me with an ungodly amount of heals and ammo that I could barely carry. Dead Aim has a limited ammo inventory system, so if you're fully stocked on your pistol and want some shotgun shells, you can swap a pack of handgun rounds for those shells, which should go even further in proving to you how much ammo there truly is at any given point, making stealth feel even less compelling in progressing through the game. It's interesting to think about, but it mostly comes down to how you want to play. I kinda love the idea of a Resident Evil stealth game, so that's usually how I play Dead Aim, but you're also open to battling it out whenever you see fit. A very clear memory I have of Dead Aim was when I first played it close to its release. I remember encountering the very first zombie, a fairly basic businesswoman who, I guess, hanged herself during the outbreak. This scenario sets up a predictable scare, with you having to pick up a key card from another body in the same room. Of course, once you do this, you can hear the woman falling free behind you. What I wasn't ready for was her spine-chilling, dead moaning. This right here scared the shit out of me. I don't know who they got to do the female zombie voice, but gosh darn, they actually sound dead. It's so creepy. Guys, Dead Aim is filled with zombies. There are so many of these shambling goofballs standing in your way, and I absolutely love it. Dead Aim zombies are probably the grossest in the classic series. The very present green tint to their skin and clothing give them a uniquely aquatic, rotting vibe. This design aesthetic plays perfectly into this abandoned ship's dark atmosphere. For most of the game, you'll be fighting these guys, but there are special enemies like hunter variants and a plethora of boss monsters. There's not a lot of enemy variety, and for the first time ever, I'm kinda glad there isn't. You spend most of your time on a boat and underwater, so things like zombie dogs and spiders don't make a whole lot of sense for the setting. I do think not including an aquatic licker is a big missed opportunity since stealth plays a prominent role in Dead Aim. Imagine creeping down a swaying dark corridor after just escaping a horde of zombies, and then hearing a demonic licker sigh. You'd be frantically trying to find the source of the sound in the darkness. But no, there's nothing there. Until you try to leave the room and it claws your face off. The common zombies act very erratically, can go turbo, and do a good job at stumbling out of the way of your crosshair. Zombie behavior is varied enough for them to feel like a fresh threat throughout the game. The devs clearly put a lot of time in making these zombies unpredictable, because having the ability to aim well enough to pull off manual headshots would make the game far too easy if these corpses just stood right in front of your gunfire. Since this is actually a survival horror game with limited ammo, aiming for center mass instead of always going for the headshot is imperative for creating space and making it by your enemies. Even though there aren't a ton of different enemies, I would have loved to see a few freakazoid fishes. Give me like a mutated blue whale, or how about a two-headed shark or something? I don't know. Dead Aim's level design is fairly basic RE stuff. Some okay backtracking, key hunts, and opening your map every 2 minutes to check your location. A small detail I love about Dead Aim is that the game gives you examination text on locked doors before you even click on them. You no longer have to waste your time jiggling the door handle to see if it's locked, they just tell you. Dead Aim's also got a pretty phenomenal in-game map that clearly labels every room, usable door, and current objectives. A streamlined take on Resident Evil's navigation system that very much works hand in hand for this title's faster pace. To talk about the rest of the game's levels would require us to dive deeper into the story. If Survivor's story was completely insane, Dead Aim's is absolutely unhinged. Dead Aim begins on an abandoned ship known as the Spencer Rain, an Umbrella-owned tub operating as employee transport across the Atlantic Ocean. Our main character, cool guy Southern gentleman and US Stratcom agent Bruce McGivern, who by the way is not played by Ethan Hawke, is on a mission to contain a recent T-virus outbreak on this ship. The outbreak was caused by an angry ex-Umbrella employee who just so happened to be framed for the Raccoon City disaster. Bruce is currently held at gunpoint by said villain. Morpheus Duval.
What do you plan to do with the T-virus?
I'm afraid that's all the playtime we have for today. You die.
The situation looks pretty sketchy until a nearby mystery woman throws a grenade, forcing Bruce to hit the deck while Morpheus tanks a majority of the shrapnel. Oh, there he goes. Sephiroth down, people. After the explosion knocks him on his ass, Bruce heads inside the boat. Sneaking around a few zombie hordes and finding a key, Bruce meets up with our mystery girl. Oh, did I say he meets up with her? I meant to say he gets his ass kicked by her.
Wait, you saved me earlier. You're Chinese security bureau, huh? Looks like we're in the same business.
Same business doesn't mean same side, Bruce McGivern.
You already know my name. That makes sense since you're blackmailing both of our groups.
Oh god, is it just me or is Bruce's neck a little messed up? So Fong Lin is a Chinese agent who happens to be on a similar mission, stop Morpheus from launching missiles at various cities around the world. So we're dealing with an outbreak and a global terrorist plot. So the voice acting in Dead Aim isn't bad per se, it's just bizarre. Bruce's southern accent lights my soul on fire every time I hear him speak. He's actually voiced by this game's co-composer, Raj Ramaya, a very cool dude responsible for creating a ton of classic anime theme songs, including some of the OST from Cowboy Bebop's movie, Knockin' on Heaven's Door, which is so sick. Yeah, that's Bruce McGivern singing those songs. By the way, Raj is not from the American South, if that wasn't obvious by his accent. If an RE game isn't badly acted, it's badly accented. Anyway, after getting wrecked, we explore more of the ship. We power on all of the electronic locks to the guest rooms, head through a cozy casino, find a shotgun in a zombie-filled kitchen, and head outside where we discover a closed panel that leads deeper into the belly of the ship. The panel requires a valve to open, so we head back inside. I can't stress enough how good Dead Aim's atmosphere is. The very subtle swaying of this dead tanker's environment, coupled with synthy horror stings, does an amazing job at emphasizing the dark mystery lying in wait. After reading a file detailing the location of the valve, we head over to the boat's storeroom, where we're ambushed by something big. How could any video game character look this horrifying? Oh my god, look at his neck. It is messed up. I think Fong hit Bruce a little too hard. She may have dislocated this dude's neck.
Should have left by now. Somewhere in America, there's a kitten stuck in the tree, desperately needing your help.
Fong Lin steals the valve handle we just found as we get to play as her. We basically race Bruce back to the closed panel. Fong has the assault rifle in this section, and going from Bruce's slower weapons to Fong's blazing fast rifle, cutting down entire hordes of zombies, makes her feel like she's one step ahead of our leading man. My favorite thing about running back through the boat is seeing these once empty hallways now filled with walking dead. As Bruce catches up to Fong Lin, we see Morpheus in a security room unleashing a duo of hunter elites. I'm sorry, I can't get over his busted ass neck. It's like his neck bone isn't rigged properly to his model. This battle is treated like a boss fight, and it's very lame. These specific hunters are just more powerful versions of basic enemy hunters that show up later. A few shotgun shells and they're done. After taking down the elites, we see Morpheus currently going through it.
I'll never die.
Oh snap, I can't wait to see his electrical mutation. I bet it's gonna be gross and scary. Wink wink. In the bowels of the ship, we battle through pitch black corridors, take an elevator up, and find ourselves in a presentation room. There's a file here explaining a few of the creatures we've encountered earlier, like the new hunter variant and the tyrant that slammed Bruce against the storage room wall. I'm sorry, I meant to say Thailand. It quote-unquote attacks with its huge arms. Part of the file also delves into a new virus, a combination of the T and G viruses that have electrical results. That must have been the concoction that Morpheus injected himself with.
Scared little rats with an ugly, useless gun. Morpheus?
So, Morpheus literally transitioned to female after injecting herself. Hold on. T plus G? The TG virus? The trans girl virus? I think Umbrella put a little HRT in that new combination. There's actually a really cool fan theory about how viruses in the RE universe work, and I think it totally applies to Morpheus. The theory goes that each virus affects a subject differently depending on their personality type or immediate environment. William Birkin in RE2 is very mad about Umbrella betraying him and stealing his life's work. That rage is represented in his G virus mutation, an unrelenting monster whose rage cannot be stopped. You even see the monster and man fighting for control. Irving in RE5 is a low-level businessman who everyone steps on to get at his money. When he mutates, he becomes larger than life, a physical representation of how he's always wanted to carry himself. Morpheus is a villain obsessed with the concept of beauty. She's always going on about it. Her mutation being a feminine form equipped with ballistics, a higher voice, head tentacles in the shape of long, beautiful hair, and my favorite detail, her clicking, organic, high-heeled feet all suggest that on the inside, Morpheus feels like a woman, potentially making them a trans character. Jumping ahead a little, the other characters don't really comment on this. It's not played as a joke either, like so many other cowardly pieces of media from the 90s and early 2000s. It just kinda happens, and at no point is Bruce like, "Hey, Fong, why the hell has Morpheus transitioned? I don't get it." I'm certainly not gonna imitate Fong Lin's accent. I honestly can't believe I'm discussing whether or not a character in a Resident Evil game is trans. But hey, a lot of fans believe this is the case, and I'm inclined to as well. It's kinda cool.
Up yours, woke Morpheus. We'll see who cancels who.
So Morpheus is kind of a pursuer monster in this part of the game. She can't be killed, so you just have to run away looking for a specific key. There's a total Looney Tunes moment where Bruce has to crowbar open a series of boxes to find a key card. But it's random, so Bruce is just like, "Hey, give me a minute. I gotta crowbar these crates open, bro." Ma'am, I swear I didn't do that intentionally. I'm an ally, I promise." Seeing Morpheus flail at Bruce and then robotically stand there waiting for him to get back up is also unintentionally hilarious. After finding a key card and opening our escape, Bruce runs into Fong. God, Bruce runs like such an idiot. Oh my god, his neck! As Fong Lin, we power up the door, letting Bruce through and locking Morpheus behind.
How many times are you expecting me to save you, mister?
Come on, what are friends for? I'm just trying to help you build up your confidence.
God, it's so cheesy, but I just love it. I love Bruce and Fong's chemistry. This game reminds me so much of an early 2000s spy movie. As we make our way back to the guest area, we get to the boat's control room.
Oh no!
Okay, I take back everything I said a second ago. What is he, 6 years old? Oh no? Man-child. On the outer deck, we battle this game's tyrant, and it sure is disgusting. Its gnarled teeth, stretchy fingers, and back pustule gross me out. Ugh, it makes me sick to my stomach. Not to mention, when you shoot at its back sore, an ungodly amount of blood shoots out everywhere. The tyrant kinda just rushes at you with overwhelming attacks. Down it with some magnum fire, and then shoot its pus sac with your shotgun, and you'll take it out in no time. After this, the Spencer Rain is on a crash course to collide with a nearby island. Bruce jumps ship with an amazing early 2000s cutting frames effect. Bruce's walk through this lonely town, underscored with moody synths, got me so hyped to see what was coming next. It's a boring-ass sewer level. No, seriously, this part of the game totally sucks. It's a maze of similar-looking waterways that lead to an even more confusing series of brown hallways. Bruce finds some working radio equipment down here and contacts HQ. They tell him that this facility is housing missiles filled with the T-virus. They're all aimed at major cities across the globe. Morpheus is essentially holding the world hostage. We also see Fong Lin sneaking through the sewers, encountering a massive blind creature. This is the Pluto Tyrant. From here we play as Fong for a bit as we find a helipad. A strange red light is shining down from up above us. This is the second time Bruce has straddled this poor woman with his busted neck.
Get off of her, you creep.
Bruce removes a tracking device from Fong's arm, because now the Chinese government is trying to take her out since America won't pay ransom money to Morpheus. She's expendable. Why is there a satellite laser? Maybe I'd understand the ransom thing better if I could actually hear what Bruce's contact was saying over the radio. The subtitles don't help either because none of them line up with the game's spoken dialogue.
Wait, you saved me earlier.
Business doesn't mean same side, Bruce McGivern.
If cooperation is too much to ask for on our first date, might I suggest we simply stay out of each other's way?
Should have left by now. Somewhere in America, there's a kitten stuck in a tree, desperately needing your help.
How did this get past testing? As the two make their way to an elevator leading to Morpheus's secret lab, Pluto cuts us off. Pluto is a hard-hitting bullet sponge, but the awesome thing about this battle is it's entirely possible to get through it in stealth, land every shot perfectly on its exposed brain, and this thing will go down in about a minute. Again, this creature makes me sick to my core. Look at all that rotting blood covering the entirety of this boss arena. It does make a pretty ridiculous noise if it hears you though. Look at him prancing around. It's the most disturbing and stupid thing I've ever seen. As the elevator descends into the deep sea lab, Morpheus shows up, cutting the lift's cable.
Go, go, go!
Okay, imagine being in a game store in 2003 and seeing this guy. Man, he's so cool. I have to buy this game just to see what he's all about. What cool things is this Paul Walker wannabe up to? Then you play the game and see this face, this dislocated neck, toilet bowl white teeth, skinny ass broken wrist fool. I just can't get over how insane Bruce looks in every cutscene. It's like a gift and a curse. What is that hand though? The last part of this game takes place in the lab. Morpheus's lab is not unlike other RE labs, but I feel like the devs put extra time into this game's finale. It's not just a run to the finish line. You fight an insect swarm boss and do a few different puzzles like opening a voice-activated lock. Yeah, they just recycled that one from Resident Evil 3. And Bruce finds a legit laser rifle, a weapon strong enough to pierce Morpheus's diamond skin. The final battle is pretty cool. You have infinite ammo, and it's fun seeing Morpheus flip all over the place, knocking Bruce on his ass. After taking out the dancing queen, Fong Lin stays behind, guiding Bruce through the lab to find and disarm the T-virus missiles. At this point in the story, Bruce kinda drops the accent and just growls out every line. Before literally vanishing from the room, we see Morpheus back at it, mutating even further. Approaching the missile silo, Morpheus makes her grand return as a horrifying blob of flesh. Her head actually pops out of the blob, and you have to shoot at it, forcing it back inside the disgusting mass. It looks so disturbing, fitting for a villain obsessed with beauty to end up becoming a walking piece of shit. After a while, Morpheus just kinda gives up, and we get this fantastic one-liner.
Sorry, but my dance card is full.
Morpheus grows to an unbelievable size and actually absorbs the explosion from the missiles.
Looks like we accomplished our mission. Fong Ling, come with me to America. There's nothing left for you in China.
No, I'm going home. I belong to China.
Tonghua, I'm truly an idiot after all.
You know what it really means?
I've been in your country once.
That was not in your dossier.
And then they fuck. By the way, shout out to all the fake fans that say Resident Evil is a loveless, sexless franchise. Dead Aim is like a 007 movie, but with horrible monsters. I think it's the weirdest RE title, even taking 6 into account. The story is downright bizarre. Bruce and Fong are like a 99-cent store version of Leon and Ada. Dead Aim's theme song is a very of-the-time Japanese rap rock track called Gunshot by a band named Rise. I probably can't play the song out of fear of copyright, however. I don't think it's very good. The hook of the track goes, shot, shot, gunshot, gunshot. I know, very inspiring lyrics. Interesting thing about this song was it was never supposed to be in this title. Raj Ramaya, the sort of co-composer to Nobuyushi Sano, actually made an original piece of music that would have served as the game's theme song. I like it a lot more than Shot. The lyrics are about Fong Lin not being able to leave with Bruce at the end of the game. Its synthy mood and vibe fit Dead Aim a hell of a lot better than some early 2000s Edge. The sad part is, I guess the higher-ups at Capcom at the last minute cut this song from the game and replaced it with Rise's track. It's very unfortunate, but I'm glad that the original piece of music is out there in some capacity. So again, shoutouts to that man Raj. You did good. I've been trying to figure out why this game has such horribly unpolished animation in its cutscenes. It can't be a budgetary constraint, could it? Well, I guess it was, because the craziest thing about Dead Aim is that I pretty much showed you all of the game. Much like Survivor, Dead Aim is about an hour and a half long. It's another afternoon game for this sub-series. The major issue here is the lack of multiple branching paths. Dead Aim has one story and one set of levels, so unfortunately there isn't a whole lot of replay value. You can, of course, unlock infinite ammo for your guns and start a New Game Plus file as Fong Lin, but that doesn't make for a different gameplay experience. Both characters are exactly the same. I would have liked to see the multiple paths and cutscenes from Survivor expanded for Dead Aim. Like I mentioned at the start, Dead Aim was the death knell for the Survivor subseries. It sold almost no copies, and most people haven't even heard of it. I wish I could say that was a shame, but it kind of isn't. I like the game a lot, but the amount of content you were getting was unacceptable to justify its price tag at the time. I mean, if you have a PS2 emulator, it's free $99, and definitely worth an afternoon of playtime. So yeah, maybe check it out. You could finish it in like 2 hours. Don't you want to experience Bruce in all of his glory firsthand? For all its faults, Dead Aim does what most RE side games tend to do. Charm you with its outrageously bad voice acting and weirdo story, while also delivering an interesting gameplay experience. I was really surprised by the reception on my Survivor video. I thought it was really cool reading comments, seeing people thank me for giving that game a spotlight. Actual Survivor fans came out of the woodwork to celebrate that game with me, despite how universally panned it's been throughout the years. I hope you guys enjoyed this special 2-part retrospective on Survivor and its sequel. Dead Aim isn't the best game out there, but it strived to be different. It did something unique with Resident Evil, even before RE4's revolutionary release. The characters are goofy, the story is fun, the music is phenomenal, the atmosphere is great, and I don't know, I just kinda love it, warts and all. I'll never forget you, Dead Aim. Remember guys, heroes never die. Hey everyone, I hope you all enjoyed this look at Survivor and Dead Aim. They are not good games by any means, but I still have a lot of fun with them. Don't judge me. If you like this video, please consider subscribing and checking out my Patreon link in the description. Thank you so much to Casetify for sponsoring this video. Alright guys, I'll see you all soon. Have an amazing day. Later.